What's up, everybody? Back again with another review for the LTA Movie Club. This time the film is Clerks. Gonna get this out of the way. I don't dislike anything about Clerks. Clerks to me is one of my all-time favorite movies, you know, not like a top 10, and it's not in terms of quality, just one of my favorites. I can watch Clerks over and over again. I can quote Clerks. I love Clerks, so this video is just going to be what I like about Clerks. So let's hop into it. What do I like? I love the characters. You know, you have Dante, who is this, you know, kind of a man-child who's feigning, you know, a sense of responsibility or a sense of maturity, but isn't quite there. And then you have Randall, who's almost the polar opposite, that's embraced his, you know, immaturity, his you know, devil-may-care attitude, you know, everything. And how they kind of are best friends but hate each other, and, you know, it's great. With that, I'd be remiss to point out, you know, the other Kevin Smith movies. You have this, you have Mallrats, you have Chasing Amy, which is my personal favorite. I may review it at some point. I like it for completely different reasons than Clerks, but I do love it. Dogma, Jay and Silent Bob, and Clerks 2. I won't mention, you know, the other movies. But either way, those movies, you know, all have this linchpin set of characters of Jay and Silent Bob, which were introduced in Clerks. And, you know, a recurring theme in the movie is that they're kind of like Batman and Robin. You know, these two, you know, the stoic, silent, only talks when is absolutely necessary, and then, you know, the cartoon character of Jay, you know, and how they kind of play off of each other in this strange way, and, you know, they are kind of cartoon characters. So I just dig the characters. This, you know, they are real, but almost ethereal in how crazy they are, or the kind of situations. With that, the characters would not be as good as they are without the dialogue. Kevin Smith wrote and directed it, and the dialogue is tacked sharp. It is, you know, and he makes this commentary. It's all these dick and fart jokes, but at the same time, it has a lot of wit. It has a lot of heart. It has a lot of, you know, extreme intelligence, you know, that comes through in the dialogue, and the characters wouldn't be who they are without that dialogue. So I guess that's my second point. I love the dialogue, the vulgarity, everything. With the dialogue comes the timing, you know, the comedic timing of all this, where there are pauses exactly where there need to be, and, you know, when there aren't, when you have this rapid fire, you know, kind of ranting and raving, and, you know, it's just, it's great. And, you know, to me, this is a very smart comedy, and this is the best way to do it. So that, you know, you could have a class on Clerks and what Clerks did right in terms of writing characters and timing, blah, blah, blah. This is kind of an iffy one, you know, to put in my review, but I'll do it anyway. I like the fact that Clerks brought about the Clerks cartoon. Now, if you haven't seen the Clerks cartoon, it was only 6 episodes, and it was doomed to failure from the start. But the Clerks cartoon, in many ways, to me, surpasses Clerks, because it was a network television cartoon. It got away with a lot, considering, you know, you obviously couldn't have the kind of, you know, language and vulgarity that's in Clerks. But they sprinkled in more pop culture references, and kind of took, you know, this town of Leonardo and made it this fantasy realm of crazy comedy and mashups, and just, the Clerks cartoon's awesome. So if you can check it out, please do. But I like that about Clerks, is that without Clerks, there would be no Clerks cartoon. I like that Clerks 2, the sequel, which pales in comparison to the first one, generally unsullies the first one. What I mean by that is, watching Clerks 2 doesn't ruin Clerks 1 for you. You're not like, oh, you know, it's not Indiana Jones, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where it kind of detracts from the first one. You know, it's good in its own way, and it builds some things it needs to, takes away a couple of things. But you can watch Clerks 2 and immediately watch Clerks 1 again, and Clerks 1 will still feel the same, and you'll still have the same reaction. Now, if you don't like it, you're not going to like the second one, and vice versa. But I like that, you know, it's generally still a pure experience. I like that, not necessarily the movie, the plot and everything, but there's a sense of hope from watching Clerks, at least for me. This movie is very much an, you know, indie movie, and that's a terrible term, but, you know, a bunch of friends, people that, you know, met each other through circumstances, grew up together, all these things, you know, they just kind of had this idea, and they hammered it out, and they did it. And I have friends that are like that, and I envy them completely, but just this great, like, success story. Like, when you're watching Clerks, you can't help but kind of realize that they poured everything into this movie, and luckily it turned out to be a success, have this cult following. And that's great. It's great that it turned out that way, and it's great that it's a great, you know, American film success story. In a day and age when, you know, you don't have too many of them. So, I like that. I kind of talked about it before, but the pop culture references, you know, the Death Star contractors, and the Jaws references, and, you know, everything like that. When I saw this movie, and I feel a need to dive into this a little bit, this came to me at a great time. I discovered all these Kevin Smith movies, and, you know, I shared them with my friends, and our friends, we were kind of the cult of Kevin Smith movies. We quoted all of them, and it's a bit bittersweet because it ended up being like the demise of our friendship, because we all had this like hive mind, you know, Kevin Smith quoting, like we were all the same person, and you know, when no one's an individual, it's, you know, it gets tense, and we fell apart. But anyway, this movie came to me in a great time. I saw it in early high school, and it just encapsulated everything, you know, that I was feeling. It's like, you know, this nerd rage and this just general malaise because I was working all the time, and, you know, it was great. And I love Clerks, and part of the reason is because when I saw it and how I felt when I saw it, and to this day how I can watch Clerks and think back to that time, good or bad. That's why it's a great movie, at least for me. The not supposed to be here today, that's a very, like, almost anthemic to me kind of phrase. It permeates the film, it's an idea, you know, and I may be reading a little too deeply into this, but it kind of sums up how we make excuses, you know, for things, and not, you know, it's not pity-mongering, but at the same time, it's, you know, why is this happening to me? I'm not even supposed to be here. You know, it's not my fault, kind of thing. And, you know, it applies to so many things, not just in this movie, but in life. And, you know, it's a great kind of linchpin for this, both the story to unfold and, you know, commentary on everything that goes throughout the movie. So that line specifically, I really like that. I like that they didn't go with the alternate ending. If you watched it on Netflix, you probably didn't see it. If you have the DVD, watch it just for curiosity. You can look it up on YouTube. Basically, the alternate ending, Dante dies. He gets shot in like a robbery or something, and it just kind of kills the mood of the movie. So I'm really glad that you know, smarter heads prevailed when making this, that they didn't go with that ending, because it just would have killed it. And lastly, and growing up, and again I saw this in early high school, I had a job. Ever since then I've had a job. I've been working constantly. It's this love-hate job mentality thing. They go into it more in Clerks 2, but you can see it in Clerks 1, and, you know, just Clerks in general. Dante and Randall hate their jobs. They do. They loathe it. They hate the day-to-day of it. But the jobs have become the jobs. The jobs have become them. And you can't help that. You know, if you're with one job for a really long time, you can hate it, and you can bitch every day, and you may hate going to work, but it's part of you. You know, where I currently work, and I won't talk about it, I kind of hate it right now. But later on, if, you know, when I leave, I'm going to look back, and it's I'm gonna feel sad, like, you know, because it's part of me. It really is. And I like that the movie addresses that. I like the idea of that you can hate something, but it can mean so much to you. You know, and you have to make it, you know, what it is. You have to make it better. So, I really dug that. I just like everything about the movie. I like that it's funny, but it also has some great lines, you know, the try not to suck any dicks on the way through the parking lot. Who hasn't said that to their girlfriend? You know, it's just phenomenal. I have nothing bad to say about Clerks. You know, I'm not going to go through the usual thing. If somebody doesn't like Clerks, fine, whatever, I'm over it, but just really try to watch it. And I think a lot of people will take a lot away from it. So that's it. Next up's Pulp Fiction. Dig the hell out of that movie, but we'll get to that later. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys later. If you like this video, rate, comment, you know, thumbs up, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them down below. And I will see you guys later. Thanks.